Storm is rolling in. Are you sick of seeing my roses yet? Because I am not sick of showing them to you. All these plants are just too tall and fragile. They so need to be planted, but I don't want to leave them out here in the storm, so I'm about to race all of the stuff into the greenhouse. Thank you, sir. Look at that full greenhouse again. And just like that, we're back to this stage. I was in line at the grocery store day before yesterday. I don't know, it's all blurring together at this point. And I had bought some plants. I had plants for sale up front. And I bought some because plants. And this elderly woman was in the checkout behind me. And I just cannot be around an elderly person without starting a conversation. And if it can get to gardening, it's gonna make its way there. And so of course I had plants, so it was pretty easy transition into that topic. And anyway, she started talking to me about gardening and sharing her gardening experience with me. So of course I'm all ears. And she was like, well, don't you put those in the ground until after that storm blows through on Tuesday night. And I was like, okay. And she was like, well, she said, I guarantee hail's coming in that storm and it's gonna crush all the plants that are in the ground already. And so I was like, okay, oh, yes ma'am. Like, this was yesterday. So I've already planted out some tomatoes and stuff prior to that, but I didn't plant anything else out after that. Because if somebody who's lived 50 years longer than you tells you something, it's good to listen if you can. And the storm is supposed to be a pretty bad one. So I am putting all of the plants that I can back in the greenhouse. I am not doing anything for the plants that are already out. The tomatoes and stuff, they're pretty small, so if there is hail, it probably won't damage them too badly. All the other stuff, may the odds be ever in their favor, I guess. I don't know, like, I have too many plants to do anything about it, so you just have to hope for the best. Well, there we go. Who needs to walk, right? Okay, so I'll lock that up, and then I usually go ahead and take down like the hanging plants, and these won't hurt it, but like I used to have some big wind chimes here, and I would take them down since it is next to glass if we're gonna have high winds. I definitely don't want that up there. One year I put all of my tomato plants in, just all my plants, filled up all the garden beds, and within 2 or 3 days, this monster hailstorm came in. And it really didn't destroy that much. It broke a lot of things. I was so helpless. I just sat at the window here at my piano, and I just start singing. So I mean, what else am I gonna do? And it was really neat because I came out to the garden and I was like, oh, please be okay, please be okay. And I got down here and I turned around and this massive rainbow had come up over the house. It was really, really cool. It was a very cool moment. I always remember that. And I was so thankful. So thankful. And this, it gets me every time I look at it. I just want to show you. And I know that right now, even this video does this no justice whatsoever. Look at these daffodils. Are these not so fascinating? I got these bulbs from Baker Creek in the fall, and I need to email them because they're currently not listed on the website, and I don't remember the name of them. They're so pretty. They're blooming late because I planted them late, but I'm kind of glad they're blooming now because they're blooming and the roses are blooming, and it just makes the whole thing very cheerful. I'm just gonna take a quick look around at everything before the bottom falls out. I was actually shooting another video. I'd just gotten started on it. It's a how-to video. It'll be up tomorrow, the day after you see this, because I sat down to do it and all of a sudden just the wind started blowing so hard, and like in just a moment, the animals, like the goats and stuff, they took off through the woods, and then the pigs took off, the dogs started barking, and when the animals all start going for cover in like a hurry, I'm just like, it's time to wrap it up. I just didn't want to get halfway through the project and then have to stop because I wouldn't be able to redo the front half later, so I just do it all at once tomorrow. We haven't made any more progress on this since you last saw it. but we'll knock out a lot more. We haven't made any more progress. You can see the boards and stuff are prepared for this bed, or these two. So there will be like a 4-foot walkway and then 2 beds just like here, and then another really long one on that end. And there's a little walkway here so you can access through here. And this being 4 foot is enough for cattle panel arches. Just like 1 for good measure, maybe 2. Since I planted this garden, we've had so much heavy rain, and you can kind of see where the rivulets have gone through here, especially over on that side. So I'm kind of just gonna have to wait and see what actually comes up. Now this garden, there's a slope here. You can probably see that. It's never as pronounced looking like on a camera as it is when you're trying to put a garden in. And Bintern actually dug out this little trench, which I thought was a really good idea to kind of help the water not flow all the way over the garden, but we decided we're going to dig another one out on the other side to try to divert it around this patch. Once it's growing, it won't be that big of a deal, but right now it could easily wash away what I'm trying to get to grow here. The other night we got, I think, like 6 inches of rain in one night. It was a lot of water that came down, and tonight's supposed to be a really bad storm too. I was encouraged to see this morning though. I came out here with my coffee, and there are things sprouting, but like here, there's 4 things coming up right here. I didn't plant any seeds that close together, so they washed down here. And we'll just have to see. I see several of them coming up, and I'll just have to thin them out. These are my Pro Cut sunflowers from Haas, the cutting sunflowers. I'll be relieved to see some squash start coming up in this. I'm just not sure how well this stuff's gonna germinate, or if it's even still there. I was really worried about my sweet potato slips because I was like, man, they look like dead. But then today I noticed that I was starting to get some new leaves come up on these. So I think it'll probably be okay. Many of you have assured me that there's nothing to worry about. The sweet potatoes grow like weeds, and in this space that I'm not gonna have to worry about it, that it's gonna be just like a giant wild patch of sweet potatoes. But I've never grown a big patch like this before, so I don't know, but I don't know these things. You don't know until you know. I also found today that I had more little squash babies. I think this little butternut squash, or my honey nut squash that I planted. And then lots more babies over here, like this is a lemon squash. Does anybody else stay outside as long as they can when you know the weather's about to get bad? I just love being outside, and it's almost like when you know you're about to have to go inside and you're not gonna be able to play outside anymore, you wanna stay out until the very last minute, you know, until the street lights come on and your mom starts yelling from the front porch, you gotta get in right now. That's me now as a grown-up. I'm a grown-up that's still waiting until the last minute to go inside. I love this space back here. I thought that I wouldn't love it as much as I do. I knew we were gonna put back some, like, what we were calling production areas back here to really up our production. That we weren't focusing on creating a beautiful garden in the sense of like how the front garden is really more like a potager style that is really focuses on mixing in medicinals and herbs and very diverse planting for the sake of creating something beautiful. Sorry, there was a weird bug. I think I just went cross-eyed. So back here wasn't that. But there's also something just really lovely about like the neat straight rows and like the sweet potato patch and the potato patch and the squash coming up, and there's like the uniformity of it. I don't know. I did not think that this would appeal to my slightly chaotic right brain processing, and like I just didn't think that this would appeal to it as much as it is. Maybe I just love gardens though. It's about to start raining. I just got a couple of messages I saw on my phone. I've been getting asked a lot about my friend Daniel. We talked about this on our live the other day, but I don't think that it's been in a vlog yet. I know some of you follow Daniel on YouTube and Instagram, but we have a lot of new people here. So you might not know Daniel if you're new with us, but if you ever hear in the background of our videos the acoustic guitar music, all of that is made specifically for our channel by our friend Daniel Smith. He's a very gifted worship leader and a very dear friend of ours. And last week, at the end of last week, Daniel was T-boned in a very, very bad car wreck, and he's okay. I posted this on Instagram. He's been sharing stuff. We've kind of been keeping people updated. He had his two sons were in the car with him, and it was a serious wreck. It was very traumatic, and his right arm is very badly broken. Thankfully they're alive. I mean, that is just absolutely miraculous if you see the car. It was a very, very scary thing. We're so thankful that they're alive. However, having a broken arm for a musician, it's a strumming arm, it's a big deal. And so tomorrow morning, so the day that you see this, he's actually going to have a pretty extensive surgery, having plates put in his arm. So I've been asked a lot since sharing it on Instagram for updates on him, so that's the update. I'll put his information down below if you guys want to reach out for him and pray for him. I know he's really appreciating that. I'll put all his stuff down below so you can do that. Y'all really made him feel very, very loved the other day whenever I shared that on Instagram, and he got such an influx of just kind words and encouragement. That is definitely the kind of stuff that moves his heart, and so it was a real blessing to him. He felt very loved. And it's one of those things, like when you go through something really crazy like that, it's just that place between just incredible gratitude of being in a near-death experience that you didn't die, and then also dealing with just a major shift in your life. And obviously this is a really long-reaching thing, so thankful, but also navigating a lot of recovery ahead. So I'm hoping that after all of his surgeries are done and he is to the point that he's very stable and the doctors have cleared him to travel, I'm hoping that at that point, I know that things are starting to open back up, and I'm hoping to be able for one of us to go get him and bring him and the boys here to spend a week or something, and we can just dote on him and he can recover. We're really thankful that he's okay. Y'all ready to go inside? Well guys, it's starting to sprinkle and it's gonna get to be a lot fast. I'm gonna take these big doofuses inside. You wanna go snuggle on the couch? Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. I bless you. Until next time.